Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Wow Jutsu here coming at you with something different. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit. I've been playing Hunter all Dragonflight, um, and I've been figuring out, what classes the Hunter is good against, what classes we counter, or what classes just absolutely demolish us. And going into 10.2 with all the changes, right? I wanted to talk a little bit about some of these classes and specs and how they compare against a hunter. So this is like survival hunter, beastmaster hunter, and you know uh, marksmanship hunter going into 10.2. So let's start it off. Like so, S tier basically is, um, you know, can kill easy, or always the kill target. Right? Is like, we can basically, kill within a setup, easy. B is, um, have to line a lot of damage and burst when set up. Right? And C is basically we pretty much need to kite the entire time to live, and eventually we'll win when they're out of CDs. And then D is like, worst lobby ever. Okay, so with that said and done, let's talk about some of these. So let's start it off. We'll just go line by line. Unholy Death Knight. I think Unholy Death Knight, Beastmaster Hunter for sure can definitely destroy a Unholy Death Knight. So, like, we can definitely kill it in a setup. Same for a Frost Death Knight. They're probably similar. I don't know with the difference. I think that Frost a little bit more like burst. Um, less pets. Unholy can kill you behind. Like, Unholy can kill you in the turtle. Like, it's ridiculous. So basically, yeah. So Death Knight, we'll call it in a setup. I don't think we can kill an Unholy Death Knight like without a trap itself. Havoc Demon Hunter. This is literally like the worst lobby ever. Going into 10.2, like if I see a Havoc Demon Hunter, that's horrible for me to fight. They just have constant defenses. You got Blur, you got Darkness, you got Netherwalk, you got like you can fly up in the air, with the chaos from above. You got all kinds of defenses. And then on top of that, you throw in a Mistweaver Monk Cocoon, Restoration Druid, Ironbark, right? So you just got all kinds of just defenses that you can just rotate. So it's like the worst lobby ever going into 10.2. All right, and I guess this is like third third week of 10.2. Last season of the expansion. So, all right, moving on. Fury Warrior, and I think every warrior. Well, I think Fury Warrior is pretty. It's a little bit easier. So, like, I'd say we line the damage, and we burst when set up, right? And so we can defeat that. I think pretty easy compared to like an Arms Warrior. Arms Warrior is also a little odd because like as a Beastmaster Hunter, for example, you if they put die by the sword, parry every one of your pet's attacks, like that's a 5 or 6 second defensive that will just you just gotta swap. And so like if they do that on a trap, like you trap the healer and then they pop the die by the sword because you as a Beastmaster or Marksman you don't have a disarm, right? You have to kite that out, kite that out, or swap, or do something a little wild, or just like CC them, until that's over. I think it's a little harder than Fury Warrior. Fury Warrior, you can just create some distance and set, maybe root him a little, set up on a trap, and just like stun him and just go, right? And so I think it depends on which hunter spec you're playing, but like for example, survival can counter a arms warrior a little bit better, just because you can trap, you can then disarm, so they cannot do a die by the sword. while you do your like 3 or 5 second burst setup. Especially if you have a follow-up CC, you're in the golden. All right, let's see. Boomie. I think Boomie is always the kill target, right? You should always, I don't know if we can kill him easy. They've been just like living lately. I think that Boomie is probably the kill target always. You know why? Because as a hunter, like if you're on the Boomie, especially as a survival hunter, you have a kick that's like every 10 or so seconds. You could be kicking clones. Kick clone. Also, if you're just like laying damage into the Boomie, like constant damage from a BM hunter or marksman hunter if the Boomie's in the open, like they will have to sit bear form, which means they will do no damage to you. So that means you're like, if you're doing a shuffle with 3v3, you're really doing a shuffle against 3v2 if the guy's sitting bear form just healing. So, and they can't clone in bear form, so it's a good kill target for sure. All right, Feral Druid. I think that Feral Druid is unfortunately feeling super squish going after they buffed the regrowth, they buffed the healing, and then they nerfed it. Played with a Feral Druid jungle with BM Hunter as well as Survival Hunter yesterday, and it's not looking the best. Unfortunately, I mean they still can do a lot of damage. All right, so it's definitely a good target to shut down. All right, if they have the same thing, if they have to sit bear form or they can't do damage, they're just getting rooted or they're just getting stunned. There's just all kinds of things that just stopping them. It's great. Also, it's great. You could always, if you really wanted to, you could always just like fear them away. Let's say they got like a bark on them, an iron bark or some sort of cocoon or anything major defenses like that from a healer. You could always, as a hunter, every hunter has fear the beast, scare beast basically, or just fear the druid in the cat form, bear form, or any other type of shape-shifting form. Right, we're not going to talk about the tanks because I don't think tanks are pretty much actually let's put it over here. Tanks are the worst lobby ever for hunter. Like we have physical damage, right? You have bleeds, you got physical damage, maybe a little bit of magic with the bombs. That's survival, but mostly physical and the bleeds and the kill shot bleeds and all kinds of bleeds. Tanks are really good against physical damage. I mean, I think the tank that's the best against, the worst against physical damage, maybe like a Blood Death Knight, maybe a Demon Hunter, Vengeance Demon Hunter, but like, geez, every tank can pretty much out heal. If they're not good against physical damage prevention, they can pretty much out heal the damage. So it's a little wild. All right, healers. We won't talk about healers just yet. We'll just throw this down here. All right, Devastation Evoker. All right, cool. Devastation Evoker. I'm pretty sure this is Devastation. Yeah. I don't think this is Augmentation. Yeah, so this is Devastation Evoker. Devastation Evoker, I think, is always the kill target. As a hunter, you have so much mobility, you can keep up with them. As survival, you're just like zipping across the map and just keeping up with them. Getting traps, connecting. As BM, you're constantly on them. They run away, they try to root your pets. You just like freedom your pets and just stay on them, which is constant damage. The only really big defenses they have is that obsidian scales, which and then the movement impairment, which is movement impairment freedom. Pretty much they can't get slowed or anything like that. So for a lot of comps, right, other players like a Rep Pally, for example, or a slower like a DK, or just a slower type of partner in arena may find it hard to keep up with the Devastation Evoker. But right, as a hunter, you just like marksman hunter, just sit in the middle, just smack them, or Beastmaster Hunter, keep your pets on them and just like swap around, or survival, get a trap, burst on them, right? When they have no defenses, just get a stun, get a trap, done. So also it's the best kill target because they have nullifying shroud. So like usually in the beginning of the arena, if they're running nullifying shroud, they'll throw it up. They'll throw it up the first global of the arena. So one thing to know, Hunter pro tip, Chimera Sting. which is usually taken by all hunter specs. Um, in certain comps, Chimera Sting will go through nullifying Shroud. So they can't nullify the CC, the silence of Chimera Sting. So they basically, Devastation Evoker will just burst. They'll root you. They'll try to fly in the air and burst. Right? Throw their fire breath, do all these sort of things. They have that like rotation. What you do is just Chimera Sting, the nullify, and they're silenced. And then they sort of screw the rotation. Right? Now it's getting a little hectic for them, and they have to recover. They're using their damage globals on healing. So, and then if you need to kick healing, you kick Living Flame. Kick Living Flame. Disintegrate also will, I believe, hurt them as well. The Disintegrate is a big damage global for them. So, Devastation Evoker, I think, is always the kill target as a hunter. Also, when you're playing any hunter, when you're playing as a hunter, you should pretty much. It's comp specific, right? We'll say also comp specific. Right? I still think that. No, actually, I still think that hunter. You should always go after the hunter. Marksman, hunter, survival, unless there's like a warlock, for example. I guess we'll do it here. Comp specific. Yeah, we'll do, like, if there's like a warlock or a mage, for example, or just, caster that is spam CC, you should always go after hunter. But if it's like a hunter ret, like, hit the hunter. Make the hunter, not be able to hit his traps, and that's gonna hurt the entire game for them, right? If the hunter can't hit their traps, that's a sort of big issue. But that's the power of being a hunter, right? So like, if everyone's on you, you sort of like run away, pull them away into a weird spot, burst them, and then just hit your trap out of that burst. So, which also creates some hectic chaos. So I think hunter, you should always kill the hunter depending on the comp. So it's definitely doable to force turtle within a trap. So once they turtle and wall, the hunter is squish if you can connect. Alright, moving on. Mage. Every type of mage. I think that Arcane Mage, honestly, is still probably the tankiest. I think if I were to rate this, Fire Mage is definitely, like, if I were to rate Mage, I think Mage is always the kill target, no matter what. Like, always. And I think it depends on the comp as well, a little bit. Like, Frost Mage, for example, it depends on your comp. I'll leave it up here because I also always go after the mage because as a hunter, like you have all that physical damage. Mages don't have any defenses against that. So like every mongoose bite tick, every kill command, every aim shot will just like hit them half, like full health, 25% down or 50% down, and just like keep on hitting them. And eventually you're gonna force block. You're gonna force all kinds of things. If the mage is good, right, you have to play arena in a little bit better way to swap around and to make him feel safe so that he doesn't make those mistakes. All right, so mage always the kill target no matter what. Windwalker monk. I think this is also comp specific, right? I will always go after a Windwalker monk over a Windwalker demon hunter. Like I will hit a Windwalker, right? Versus the demon hunter. CC the demon hunter, attack the Windwalker. When they karma, swap off. Unless you have like Blessing of Protection from a Ret Pally, and then you can kill through karma, or there's like a Ret Pally bubbles or something like that. But like I think Windwalker monks can definitely die. Right? If you have a good setup on the healer, you hit a stun trap, healer trinkets, hit a fear, hit a hodge, like, or hit a fear or a cyclone or anything like that, you're looking at a pretty good setup here. So, I think they're also squish. The only thing to worry about with a Windwalker monk is basically their fortifying brew. And then their physical harm, their dampen harm, which the more damage you do, the greater it helps them. So like their defenses are a little A little strong, but out of the defenses, they're extremely squish. Alright, we won't touch healer. Ret Pally. I do think that Ret Pally, like a Ret Warrior, for example, you should always hit the Ret. The Ret is also a great kill target with any other comp, because if you go like for example, a Ret Hunter, like a Cupid, which is very common now. I even play it. The Ret, if you go the Hunter, right, they'll bop the Hunter, or they'll bop their partner. If you go the Warrior, they'll bop the Warrior on a Ret Warrior comp. But if you go the Ret and they bop themselves, you purge the bop with a trank shot, or you're running improved trank shot to like reduce it by 4 seconds, which is huge. You purge the bop. They can't bubble for the next minute or whatever forbearance is for. So the only thing they can do really is if you go the Ret, they can bubble, which if you're running with a priest, or if you're not running with a priest, all you got to do is handle the bubble, run away, kite the bubble, or if they can dispel it, you just stay on them and get a trap and kill. That's a pretty huge thing. They also take a lot of damage for some reason. Alright, cool. Alright, Shadow Priest. Let's see. Shadow Priest, I think you should... it depends on the comp. For example, Shadow Play is also something that's played a lot right now in 10.2. Shadow Priest is pretty dang good. Like, I've had a lot of people try to go Shadow Priest, but I do think that it depends on the comp, right? So, like, if you're running a Shadow Play against a Shadow Priest Warlock as a Hunter, you should probably stay on the Warlock, but you definitely want to swap around, right? You just want to force defenses all around, but probably want to stay on the Warlock because that will slow down their ability to cast Fear, right? Whether they have to fake cast, then they're not casting anything, or they have to, or you kick the Fear, right? If you're survival, for example, you should always stay on the Warlock to kick the Fear, because that's spammable versus their ability to Psychic Core from a Shadow Priest. So, talking about Warlock, I think that Demonology is probably the tankiest of all the Warlocks. I don't really like going a Demo Warlock. It depends on the comp, though, right? Like, this comp, this is so dangerous. Like, Shadow Priest Demonology Warlock is so dangerous. But, for example, Destruction is really good, like, to always hit, because you're kicking Chaos Bolt, you're stunning Chaos Bolt, scattering Chaos Bolt, any kind of interrupt. Micro CC is what they call it. Any kind of CC to stop their cast, right? You should always be doing that on the Warlock. Try to prevent the damage, line the damage, all of that. Alright, I don't think... Oh, here's Affliction. Affliction, it depends on the comp. Like, I think it depends on the comp. Like, if I see an Affliction Death Knight, for example, I would, like an Affliction Unholy Death Knight. The Affliction Warlock has to cast. And they are very slow. Right? They're very slow. They're sitting in the middle. They have to cast. Unholy Death Knight, or a melee, a caster cleave, basically, the melee has to roll in and, like, attack. So if they're attacking you as the Hunter, which most people attack the Hunter, if they're attacking you as the Hunter, what you can do is basically pull the Death Knight behind a pillar, align the lock, pull the melee into, a bad position, attack the melee, which will basically, pull the healer as well as the Warlock, Affliction Warlock especially, into the open, maybe even overextend it away from their port range, away from their gate. At that point, that, like, prevents them from stopping you. So what you would do is basically, swap. Like, once they're in a bad position, you swap, right? And then you could basically stun trap the healer, or if you're survival, you can, harpoon trap the healer, and then just, stop, hit the lock, force some defenses while he tries to waddle his way over to the gate or port, and just, like, reset, right? And so you're still playing this game, but, like, I think it depends on the comp, really. But, like, if it's a... I don't know, like a mage warlock. That's just it's been struggling. It's been very struggling. It's tough, but I think you hit them both. Really, hit them all. All right, assassination rogue. I think you always go rogue. A lot of people will say no, don't hit the rogue. You know, whatever. You know, all that sort of thing. Especially assassination rogue. If you're playing a survival, you will just like eat the rogue. You'll basically just eat the rogue. And so the rogue is definitely gonna want to put death mark up. Right? And as a survival hunter, you have mending bandage, and you will literally just ignore all the damage. So like they put a death mark on the like your healer, or they put a death mark on whatever with the King's Bane and all kinds of like sepsis or whatever they do. Wait for the death mark, mending bandage, you're good to go. And then you can mending bandage for the rest of the game, every 30 seconds. Um, the and then also assassination also only has one vanish, so that's a huge plus compared to a subtlety. All right, outlaw. I do think that you should also consider hitting the outlaw rogue. I think it depends on the comp though, because outlaw rogues are a little bit more tanky. They have evasion, and if they are using that correctly with their defenses, with their healer rotating appropriately, they'll do that. All right. I have to line a lot of damage. Okay, so basically right now, yeah. So far these are all ones that we can pretty much kill. I do think that Windwalker is probably here. You have to line the damage. Well, all right, we'll take a look at this after. All right, subtlety rogue. Subtlety is also one of that's like you can go. I say always hit the subtlety rogue, especially as survival. You'll just like disarm them. You definitely take disarm against the subtlety rogue. You'll disarm them, like a rogue mage, for example. Dude, like once they're out of evasion, once they're out of like vanish, and you just throw a flare up when they're on you, they can't do any. They can't do a lot of their stealth abilities. So it's a huge benefit there. All right, I think Elisham is a good kill target too. You wanna like, you wanna. I think it depends on the comp. So like an Ellie mage, I would go with the mage. I don't know if I'd always go Ellie, but if it's like an Ellie warrior or a Thundercleave, I'll always go to Ellie, right? Because they can spam hex, right? You wanna prevent that. Enhancement shaman, dude. As a hunter, you just gotta like run. You just gotta kite the entire time, right? This is a kite the entire time, and eventually you'll win. Just line the damage, kite the damage, and just keep hitting them. All right, healer. Let's see. If I were to say a healer, which one can we actually kill? Restoration shaman. You can kill. You can kill after Spirit Link. So if I were to put A, S, A, B, C, D, I'd put Restoration Shaman. B, we have to wait. Actually, we have to do that. Druid, I do think you can always kill the Druid. Druid's definitely one that you should be killing. As a hunter, somehow we just, destroy Druids. Preservation Evoker is also one. Like, after they communion, basically, after they communion, we can eventually win. So after they do their big thing, Cocoon, same thing. After they do that, we can eventually win. Paladin, I do think that after they bubble, you can absolutely kill the Paladin. Even if they don't bubble. I think it's like A. Alright, Discipline Priest is also like, for some reason, Discipline Priest we can definitely hurt. Because you're getting them all behind. If they swap to nothing. Right? And that's a huge benefit. Holy Priest, I do think that that's a little harder. They just have so much healing that they'll do a lot. Alright, I think the only one that wasn't discussed was Augmentation Evoker. So I do think Augmentation is also one where Devastation, you should always attack with the Devastation Evoker. Alright, let's take a look at this list. So we got Mage, we got Boomie, we got Feral, we got Devastation, Ret, Destro Warlock, Assass Rogue, Subtlety Rogue, Restoration Druid, and Discipline Priest. If I were playing when I play my hunter, those are my kill targets. Like those are primarily the targets that I go after, right? No matter what. Like the comp can sometimes change it. Like for example, if not, I mean not really. Like mage lock, for example, is a really tough comp to play against, but I'd still probably go the mage because my damage can just eat at the mage. Some other, like I said, you have to play around with it, just try to see what's going on. Also, okay, let's see. So those are all my kill targets. Like, I go into a match and I see those, I'm like, yes, we got a mage, we got, Pharaoh, we're going Pharaoh. All right, and same for Pharaoh in the assassination. As a survival hunter, you take mending manage and you just like destroy. And I could probably make a video on like PvP talents and like things like that based on the comps that I play. But yeah, that's definitely helpful against those. The next tier, A tier, this is depending on the comp, but these are also viable targets. These are also targets that are like, okay, yeah, I see a hunter, I gotta kill the hunter. Maybe I gotta go through a couple different things to get to the hunter. I gotta get a setup. All right, I gotta like, force some defenses. Same for like a Death Knight, you gotta force AMS so that you can, send your explosive on them because it's ridiculous how AMS just stops explosive. So you don't want to do that. Same for Windwalker, Karma. Like you just got to go through a little bit of things. Evasion from a outlaw, and they're gonna use these defenses when you get your setup. So like these are kill targets, but you're more specific to the setup. Same for like a burrow from a Elisham and a astral shift from Elisham, right? You have your trap every 25 or 30 seconds, depending on your talents. You can hit it. You can hit that trap every time. Force those CDs. Eventually, you're gonna get it. Those are also viable kill targets. A lot of people like those too. A lot of the comps I play like that. All right. Warriors. Warriors, enhancement shaman, pretty much like thundercleave, any kind of warrior and enhancement shaman. Just kite them out. Just like keep kiting, even if you're survival. Kite, kite, kite. Just like kite them the entire time. Put them in bad positions. That's the only way you really will win. Like they are basically the counter for hunter. Like it's really bad. They it gets a little sketchy against good warriors. Will just put massive damage. Sometimes I'll take mending bandage, against like a fury warrior. I'll take disarm and mending against arms. I want to mending their bleeds, especially their thunderous roar with recklessness, and then I want to like disarm them so I can get away. Beastmaster hunter, you just kind of kite. Marksman, you just gotta like push them away and kite. And I think the only DPS on our worst lobby ever is Demon Hunter. I do think that Demon Hunter is probably the worst kill target there is. However, I will say that if going against a warrior and a Demon Hunter, I'm thinking, well, hey, Demon Hunter's got leather armor. Warrior's got, plate, or DK has plate. I don't know. Like, I'm still hitting the DK. Against the DK, I'm still hitting the DK versus a Demon Hunter. But against a Warrior and a Demon Hunter, they're both really bad for me as a Hunter to play against. So, you may want to, like, kite it out. Hit them both, force those defenses, and maybe do a massive swap on the Demon Hunter when he's got no Netherwalk, no Dark. Let's say they overlap. You have to look for opportunities like that. They'll overlap and then just, like, swap. Swap to the Demon Hunter, get a trap, scatter the off target, and just, like, go. So that's definitely, those two are really bad for me. Windwalker also could maybe be considered, back down here. Yeah, maybe it's like down here. Yeah, definitely have to line a lot of damage and hit a burst setup. Yeah, I'll put Windwalker down there. And yeah, definitely, I like this S target, this S tier. A tier targets, yeah, I like that. All of these people I want to be hitting. These, I need to run away until I can actually hit them. This one, need to run away the entire time. Don't want to let them connect ever. This one, yeah, you just basically lose if you can't do anything about it. So if you can't CC the Demon Hunter, it's just way too much damage right now. So this is 10.2. I mean, this is the Hunter's POV perspective of 10.2. I play Survival as well as Beastmaster Hunter. I have yet to play Marksman this season yet, but I do have 4 sets. So this is a 4 set perspective of Survival and Beastmaster. What are the best kill targets? And really, it hasn't changed much of Dragonflight. I think that Demon Hunters may not have been like the massively overpowered as they are now in the past, but alright, this is where we are today. Let me know what you think. If you agree with any of these, if you don't, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, hopefully this helps. This is a tier list that I wish somebody did for me when I was learning Hunter. Like I said, I'm new to PvP. I just started in Dragonflight. Dragonflight Season 1 was my first season ever in PvP. I'm learning all of this. So this is hopefully this is helpful. If you did find it helpful, it would help me a lot if you just hit that like button. Let me know you liked the video, right? If you want more stuff like this, just let me know what you want in the comments below. I really appreciate you being here, just listening and just, talking about this. It's a lot of fun. So, I will be making more content, over this upcoming year and, through the rest of the month for this year. And if you want that content, please feel free. Like and subscribe. Once again, thank you all. Peace.